I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. And that face, that same face, was standing right next to my bed for 7 nights straight. This is not a movie. This is not fake. This happened to me in my own apartment in Chicago. And after you hear this story, you might never sleep the same way again. Hey guys, my name is Marcus. I'm 24 years old, and I live in Chicago. What I'm about to tell you is something I still can't fully explain. It started exactly 8 months ago when I had just moved into a new apartment. It was a small place with one bedroom, nothing fancy, but it was mine. My roommate Chris helped me move in and stayed for a few days before he left. And that's when everything changed. Night 1. I was extremely tired that first night because I had been unpacking all day with boxes everywhere. My body was completely done, so I crashed on my bed around 11 p.m. I don't know what time it was when I woke up, but something felt terribly wrong. I opened my eyes, and my room was dark, but not fully dark. There was this weird grayish light filling the space. And then I realized something horrifying. I couldn't move at all. I tried to lift my arm, but nothing happened. I tried to turn my head, but nothing worked. My whole body was frozen, like someone had poured concrete over me. I panicked completely, and that's when I saw it. A face was right there in the corner of my room. It was pale, so incredibly pale, almost white. The eyes were dark, not black, just empty and hollow. It wasn't moving at all, just standing there and watching me. I tried to scream, but no sound came out of my mouth. My chest felt heavy, like someone was sitting on it, and I couldn't breathe properly. This went on for what felt like hours, but it was probably just a few minutes. And then I blinked, and it was gone. I jumped out of bed immediately, turned on every light, and checked every corner of my apartment. Nothing was there. I told myself it was just a bad dream, just sleep paralysis. I had heard about it before, so I tried to forget it, but I couldn't get that image out of my head. Night 2. The same thing happened again. At 3 a.m., I woke up and couldn't move, and that face was back. But this time it was closer. It wasn't in the corner anymore. It was near my door. Same pale skin and same empty eyes staring at me. I felt this cold wave hit my body like ice running through my veins. I wanted to cry and I wanted to run, but I was trapped in my own body. The face didn't move at all. It just stared at me with those hollow eyes. And then it smiled. I swear to God it smiled at me. That smile was not human because it was too wide with too many teeth. I closed my eyes tightly, prayed, and begged for it to stop. When I opened my eyes again, it was gone. Night 3. I didn't want to sleep at all that night. I called my girlfriend Emma and told her everything that was happening. She said I was stressed and that I needed rest. She said it was just my brain playing tricks on me. Maybe she was right about all of it. But she wasn't there with me. She didn't see what I saw with my own eyes. That night I fell asleep around 1 a.m. because I couldn't help it. My body just gave up on me. And guess what happened? It came back again. This time it was at the foot of my bed, even closer than before. The nightmare paralysis hit me harder this time, and I felt like I was drowning. It felt like the air was being sucked out of the room completely. The face tilted its head like it was studying me carefully. I could hear this faint sound like whispers, but I couldn't understand the words at all. I was crying, and I know I was because I could feel the tears on my face, but I couldn't wipe them away. When it finally ended, I didn't go back to sleep. I sat in my kitchen until morning with all the lights on. Night 4. I called Chris because I was desperate. I told him I needed him to come over right away. He heard the fear in my voice and didn't ask any questions. He just came over immediately. I told him everything about the face, the sleep paralysis demon, and the whispers I had been hearing. He looked at me like I was crazy, but he stayed with me anyway. That night, we both slept in the living room with all the lights on and the TV playing. But it didn't matter at all. At 3 a.m., my eyes opened, and I was paralyzed again. The face was right there, standing between Chris. But Chris was asleep, and he didn't see it at all. It looked at me first, then it looked at Chris, then back at me again. It was like it was showing me something, like it was saying that it can get to anyone at once. I tried so hard to move and to wake Chris up, but I couldn't do anything. The face leaned in closer to me, and I could feel its breath. It was cold like winter air hitting my face. And then it whispered one single word to me. Soon, I woke up screaming at the top of my lungs. Chris jumped up immediately and asked what happened. I couldn't explain it to him. I just cried. Night 5. Chris left the next morning because he had work to do. He said he'd come back later, but I was alone that night. I didn't want to sleep at all, so I drank coffee and energy drinks, anything I could find to stay awake. But around 4 a.m. I passed out anyway, and it was the worst experience yet. The face was right above me, just inches from my face. I could see every single detail clearly. The cracked skin, the dark veins, and those empty, soulless eyes. It opened its mouth wider than any human possibly could, and it screamed at me. But the scream had no sound at all. It was completely silent, but I felt it deep in my chest and in my soul. I thought I was going to die right there. I genuinely thought that was the end for me. But then I woke up with my heart racing. I was sweating and shaking uncontrollably. I called my mom right away and told her I was coming home. Night 6. I drove to my parents' house, which was 4 hours away from my apartment. I thought maybe if I left that apartment, the nightmare paralysis would stop completely. I was so wrong about that. That night in my childhood bedroom, it found me again. Same face, same nightmare paralysis, same absolute terror. But this time it spoke more words to me. It said, "You can't run from me." I realized something truly terrifying in that moment. It wasn't attached to the apartment at all. It was attached to me personally. Night 7. This was the last night of my ordeal. I didn't sleep in a bed that night. I sat in a chair in the living room with my parents nearby. But it didn't matter what I did. Somewhere around 3 a.m., I drifted off to sleep, and it came for me again. But this time, something was different about the encounter. The face was right in front of me, but it looked sad somehow. It wasn't angry, and it wasn't scary anymore. It just looked incredibly sad. It reached out its hand like it wanted me to take it. I don't know why, but I felt calm for some reason. For the first time in 7 days, I wasn't scared anymore. I looked at it directly, and I said in my mind, "I'm not afraid of you anymore." The face stopped moving completely. It stared at me for a long moment without doing anything, and then it slowly faded away into nothing. Just like that, it was over. I woke up and I knew deep inside that it was finally over. That was 8 months ago. Oh, and I haven't seen that face since then. But I still think about it every single night before I go to sleep. Was it a sleep paralysis demon? Was it just my mind playing tricks? Was it something else entirely? I honestly don't know the answer, but I know what I saw, and I know what I felt, and I know it was completely real. If you've ever experienced nightmare paralysis, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That feeling of being trapped, helpless, and watched by something you can't explain. It's the worst thing in the world. I'm sharing this true, scary story because I needed to get it out of my system. And maybe someone out there has seen the same face that I saw. If you have, please let me know in the comments below. Stay safe, everyone, and don't sleep with your door open.